So I just saw Transformers 1 in the cinemas and I frickin' loved it. So I'm kinda hungry to talk about Transformers. So let's take a look at a variety of mind-blowing LEGO and Bionicle-inspired Transformer creations. And hopefully they can give you some ideas for your next Bionicle creation. This is the Bionicle Inspiration Series. Let's dive in. Starting off very strong, this is Grimlock by Serial Builder. Now the way that Bionicle and system pieces have been beautifully integrated here, oh, it's brilliant. Yet placing lots of different sizes of claw and barb elements on the teeth, great choice. We see some of the smaller classic claw elements towards the very back of the teeth, but the majority of the smaller teeth, they are using some of these barb pieces that came on a set like the Power Miners Crystal King. You can see them on the top of the head. We then upgrade onto a larger rubber spike tooth piece in light bluish grey. These came on a Chima set much like this one. Some of them are on the little kind of beak of this bird-inspired vehicle. And then the largest tooth element, we see that at the very front. These are the weapons that 3.0 Rocker has. Yeah, it's funny, each of these pieces, it really does feel like an upgraded version of the last one. So putting them all together, it looks so consistent, even if they are all totally different pieces. And dude, things like the teeth, the curvature of the face, even just like the eyes, all of this matches the source material in every way. This is perfectly recreated. This might be the best example of turning something into LEGO that I've ever seen. Top-notch stuff. I love how the neck and the body have been built as well. The top of the neck uses some of these Hero Factory armor shell pieces. These are the same ones that came on Stormer's Invasion from Below mech, like you can see here. And then pairing these pieces with some of the wing elements that came on Furno 3.0, they're on his arms here. The two of them together, they establish this nice curved shape of the neck. And also they create this wonderful robotic texture that looks perfect for BAYVERSE Grimlock. Unfortunately, I don't think some of these pieces exist in the colors that you're seeing. Of course, this mock was built in a digital world. But looking at how this is made, I think you could still build this with existing pieces. They've not cheated in any way. They've just changed the colors of certain parts. And actually on that, if you're curious, here's a picture showcasing the internal frame for this mock. It seems that they've just built this quite sturdy looking Technic structure that forms the rough shape of a T-Rex, and then they've just kind of wrapped around the rest of the robotic texture on the outside. You know, they're literally adding skin onto a larger structure. It's surprisingly simple. The claws on Grimlock's feet, good choice to add them in this way. You'd think you'd put the sharp bit on the other side, but inverting it like this, I don't know, the energy of that looks so dynamic. I think it's cool. I mean, mate, the clever part use, the awesome texture work, and the unbelievable accuracy to the source material, this is just mind-blowing. I wish it transformed, but when it looks this good, I'll let that slide. Such a good T-Rex, such a good version of Grimlock. The Cardus Dragon has built our next creation, and it's called Makuta 056 Lazarus Wavan. So technically this isn't the Transformer known as Shockwave, but mate, you can clearly see the inspiration for this mock was of course the incredible Shockwave. And hey, that's a great idea. Pick out any of the existing Transformers that are out there, there's hundreds of them, and let them be the inspiration for your next creation. Yet maybe it's something as simple as, hey, I like the color scheme of this one, or I don't know, maybe you like the way that the head design looks, or the shoulder design is rather unique. Transcribe some of those elements onto your next creation. I mean, heck, when I was watching Transformers 1, I kept looking at all the different designs of the characters and thinking, oh, you could maybe translate that into LEGO using these specific pieces. Oh, what about this? You know, go and watch that movie and let it be a good source of inspiration for you. It was for me. I adore this arm design. The little printed tiles with a data pad on them here, and the way that that controls this larger blaster arm. Sick. And the nice purple tube that pours energy into the blaster. I suppose energon into the blaster, technically. Yeah, that's a great design. I also really enjoy these shoulders, taking Voltix's shoulder armor and placing it on in a slightly different way. It juts out at just the right angle, and it looks good. This is a brilliant mix of Bionicle and Transformers. I love it. Lewis Hammond gives us Optimus Prime for their next mock, and I love the simplicity of this, especially because you could totally build this in real life. The only thing you'd probably have issue with is the face and the trans red on his blaster. Both of those pieces exist in other colors. But really, you could probably use the official gunmetal version of that face piece and still have it look pretty good. But otherwise, I believe all of these other pieces do actually exist in the colors that they're being shown in. But yeah, a nice and simple standard CCBS build using the prefab torso and limb pieces. But it looks like Optimus Prime. I think this is perfect. Breeze's faceplate piece, it's not a perfect match for Optimus Prime's iconic face, but it does have that Optimus Prime energy to it. I don't know, I think that's all you need. And how good are these system additions on the chest that showcase the front part of his truck mode? Brilliant. Captain Subtle's creation is next, and it's called Kurita and Netalus. So we've got a cute little Matoran riding this bike. I do love a good Bionicle vehicle, and this is a lovely one. Great thinking to include Nuju Hordika's weapon pieces, the same ones we see on this set, at the very front of the bike. There's something about that looks really dope. But, of course, the bike can transform, and how good is that? I love the idea of this Matoran and Toa style friendship that these two have. A nice little duo of characters, it's good to see. Yeah, especially because you need someone to ride this bike. If they just transformed into a bike and there was no one riding it, that wouldn't be very, robots in disguise of them. It would kind of stand out a little bit, wouldn't it? It's cool here in the robot mode how the fire just becomes a part of their weapons. It's kind of a flamethrower of sorts. But previously, this was just fire sticking out of the back of the bike. It's always fun to see how the different areas of the vehicle mode translate into the robot mode, and how they're kind of repurposed. I don't know, that's one of my favorite things about Transformers. It's a very clean translation here, it's fun. And now, Mr. R03 has built Windblade. Here's Windblade, if you're not familiar with her. She's a really cool looking Transformer. And Mr. R03 has captured them in such a good way. But they've also added their own little bit of creative license to it, which is always nice to see. Speaking of which, look at this gorgeous sword piece in dark red. This, of course, came on the Knights Kingdom set Vladik. This might be one of the coolest Bionicle-compatible sword pieces that LEGO ever made. I think it looks brilliant on this mock. Now, something else that looks brilliant are the stickers on these wings. These stickers come from this Atlantis set, and I love that. The sticker details, they make this feel like this could actually transform. Those markings, those numbers, all that kind of stuff, you would expect that to be on some type of vehicle. And so the fact that they then remain on the robot mode, well, that's just a lovely detail. It just makes sense. Maybe you could add some stickers onto your next Transformer build, and it's going to really help increase the authenticity of it and make it look even more like a Transformer. And how good is this leg design too? Using some of those red Star Wars Ultra Build armor pieces and not actually putting any feet below them. This way it looks like the very bottom of the leg would have, jets on it or something. And they don't need to stand because they're just constantly flying around. That's really smart. This is such a cute and incredibly posable design. I think it's awesome. And finishing off with Vectra All-Work Crimson Arrow by Shadowgear 6335. What a funky color scheme. Trans bright green eyes popping up nicely against red and gold. Hoo-hoo! That nice printed red line on the legs is wonderful. Of course, these come on the Star Wars Ultra Build Han Solo set. It's the old Corellian blood stripes on his nice little pants. Great to see that repurposed here. Look, this mock is sick. The jet airplane inspired jetpack on the back is such a nice inclusion. But you better believe this can transform. Now, there's no video or images showcasing the actual transformation of this. I'm not sure if you just kind of twist the toy around enough and then it'll turn into this, or if you have to kind of actually reassemble it to turn it into a jet. But either way, it's a dope looking transformation. Now, I still can't get over this color scheme. It just is so striking. There you go, guys. That's it for a bunch of Transformer mocks on this episode of the Bionicle Inspiration Series. Did you enjoy the mocks that I showed you today? Well, check the links in the description below and you can see even more from the builders that I highlighted. Go and check out their stuff and let them know what you think of their incredible builds. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.